This short video is to support the strength of your shoulder joints. We're going to be doing some simple exercises using something like a couple of bricks. Even if you use tins or books, something that's the same size, so two objects of the same size. They don't have to be heavy. If you want to start building up more strength, then you can start using things that are slightly heavier. But for the purpose of this video, I want you just to feel into the muscles. So it could be something quite light. And then come to lie down when you've got your props. And we're going to lie with our legs straight first of all. Take your props into your hands. And you could grab onto them, but ideally have the hands flat. So this is exactly the same position that you're in when you're in a plank with your arms up, or a chaturanga with your elbows bent. So look up at your bricks, make sure that they're about shoulder distance apart. And then start to draw the bricks up towards the ceiling, the sky. And as you do this, notice what happens to the upper back, and in particular the shoulders. So just draw the bricks back down, keep the arms straight, and then again push them up towards the sky. So can you notice how the outer edges of your shoulder blades roll away from the ground? Come down and experiment a few times. Feel the flattening of the shoulder blades and then the lifting. And this is what rounding your upper back is. So this is what I'm cueing when you're in your plank or chaturanga when I say round the upper back or lift up the back of the heart. So let's start to move with the breath. So as you inhale, release, let the shoulders drop down, keep the arms straight, and as you exhale, push the hands up towards the sky. And as you move through this really simple exercise, notice if you have any pain in the back or any sense of tension in the belly. And then use the bandhas. So draw your navel towards your spine, engaging Uddiyana Bandha, and maybe a slight tilt in the pelvis, engaging Mula Bandha, and just see if that has any effect at all. See if you can also identify the muscles that you're using in this particular motion. So can you feel which muscle around the shoulder? There's obviously lots of muscles working here. The muscles in reality aren't separate entities, they're all connected. But predominantly in this exercise we're working at strengthening one muscle in particular. And it's called the serratus anterior. The muscle wraps around the shoulder and is serrated. It has a kind of serrated appearance around the side of the rib cage, which is why it's called serratus. Anterior means in front, and it wraps around here. Can you feel? Maybe you could just press into the side of your shoulder on one side and feel this big muscle here underneath the outside of your armpit strengthening as you lift. So this is the muscle that we need to round or protract the shoulders. This is what protraction of the shoulders is. When you lift them, when you lift the arms, protraction, and then release. Okay, so you might start to feel a little bit of heat in the shoulders now that you've been continuing this motion. Let's just do one more for luck. Push the hands up towards the sky and hold this time. Draw the navel towards the spine and see if you can push your objects as far in front of you as possible. Can you feel the muscles engage? Stay here for 3, 2, 1. And then release, allow the bricks or whatever you have to come out to the side, coming into a T shape. Okay, so working now with the pecs. So this is a muscle that's more familiar to most people. Again, I encourage you just to draw the navel towards the spine, engage Mula Bandha. And if your arms aren't able to do this, if you have very tight pecs and your arms can't come down to the floor, that's okay. Just let them hover. It's just going to be a little bit more intense. But this now works as a stretch. You've got the weights in your hands and they're drawing your arms down towards the floor. Okay, take a big breath in. And then as you exhale, draw the hands up towards the sky. Inhale to release. Move slowly through this, as slow as the breath allows, and use the exhalation to come back to center. So see if you can feel again which muscles predominantly are working to support the movement of the shoulder here. If you move really slowly through the action, then it might be more obvious. So again, you mostly know your pecs. There's pec minor, pec major, and they're the muscles that are at the front of the chest here. And this is what we're strengthening right this second in this movement. So you may have heard me cue, slide your hands towards one another without moving them when we're in a chaturanga or a plank. And this is exactly the motion that I'm talking about. So when I say that, I don't want you to actually physically move your hands closer towards one another. What I want you to do is to engage the pec muscles, which you're now working on. So just take a moment to feel the pecs. What is it like to engage those muscles? Okay, and then drop the hands all the way down to the side again, and we're going to move really slowly. So super slow. The initial lifting of the bricks up is where you're really going to feel the pecs. Can you feel that engagement all the way as you lift? Keep the navel drawing towards the spine so that you're protecting your back, protecting the core. Great. And then when you get to the top, we're going to release the arms up above the head. So some of us aren't able to do this, and one of the reasons might be because of the tightness in the particular muscle that we're going to work now. If you can't drop your arms down to the ground behind you, see what it's like to bend the knees and then tilt the hips. It might make it a little bit easier. It might make it harder, but just have a go and see. Experiment with tilting your hips back and forth and notice if that changes what's going on in the arms. If when you tilt the hips back and you've got a big arch in your back, it's easier to drop the arms down to the floor, then this is a pretty good indication that the muscle is tight. And the muscle that we're talking about is latissimus dorsi, the lats. The lats attach to the humerus bone, which is your arm bone, and then go all the way down the back of your body and connect to the hip. So you can imagine that if this muscle in the back is very tight, it's difficult for you to lift your arm above your head. The action of this muscle is not to lift the arms, but to draw the arms back down beside the body. And that's what we're going to work with now. So press your back into the ground. So this is going to help to stretch and strengthen the muscle. And then with your arms overhead, breathe in. And as you breathe out, lift your bricks up towards the sky. Inhale, take the arms back to wherever they come to. Again, this functions as a stretch as well as strengthening. Exhale, the strengthening aspect of the practice, draw the bricks up to the sky. Keep Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha engaged as you move. You're inhaling to take the bricks back and you're exhaling to lift them up. Okay, so this is what I'm cueing when I say to slide your hands back towards your feet when we're in a plank. So again, I don't really mean to slide your hands back. I mean engage your latissimus dorsi muscle. And you may be able to feel that. Personally, I find it quite difficult to feel this muscle in this movement, and it's because so many other muscles are working, and because the muscle is so big, it connects all the way down to the back. So it's quite a broad space to connect the mind with. But see if you can. Just see what it feels like to bring the arms up above the head. That action. And then you could just relax Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha for a moment. Let the spine be curved. And just notice how that feels. For me, it feels way less stable and much less strong. I don't feel the strength in the shoulders quite so much. So I'm going to flatten my back down into the ground and continue the movement. Okay, let's do this one more time, but really slowly. So take the hands up above the head and super slow, lift the arms up to the sky. See if you can identify or feel the muscles that are working to lift your hands up. Great. And then release. So you can do these exercises for as long as you want to. Just doing a little bit each day is better than doing loads one day and then forgetting about it. Okay, so let's come onto our hands and knees just to feel into what we've just done. So this is what we would be doing if we were in a plank, but let's keep it easy with the knees down. So hands underneath the shoulders. First of all, let's protract the shoulder blades. So you don't want the shoulder blades winged, you want them protracted or rounded like this. So lift up the back of the heart. Can you remember the name of that muscle? It's called serratus anterior, and it wraps around the side of the shoulder. Stay with the protracted shoulders and then slide the hands towards one another without moving them. Isometric contraction. That means that you're not actually doing the action that the muscle can do, but you're engaging the muscle that would be able to do the action. Remember, the action was to draw the hands in from that T shape. So you're engaging your pec muscles. Keep those muscles engaged, keep protracting the shoulders, and then slide the hands back towards your knees. Isometric contraction again. Can you remember this muscle? Latissimus dorsi. So all three muscles are strong and engaged. Can you feel that lift and strengthening around your shoulder joint as you stay in this motion, as you stay in this shape? This is the feeling that you want every single time you're in your plank, your chaturanga, and even your downward facing dog. Okay, so let's just stretch it out to release. Come into melting heart pose, forearms down to the ground, forehead to the floor. Walk your hands as far in front of you as you can. So again, for those of us that have tight shoulders, this might be a little bit challenging. If it's not challenging for you, you can increase the stretch by taking your bricks underneath the forearms. Otherwise, if that's challenging for you and it kind of feels a bit intense, walk your elbows back so your arms aren't quite so stretched out and there's less intensity around the lats, around the pecs. And then just allow yourself to breathe in the stretch. Last breath. And then walk your elbows back, release into a child's pose, and bring your arms by the side of the body. Forehead to the floor. It doesn't matter if your bum is dropping down to the ankles. That's just what gravity will eventually do. Let your arms drop really heavily down to give them a little bit of a release. And then whenever you're ready, you can roll yourself up to a seat. Namaste. Let me know how you get on. Remember that the actions are, just to recap, having the bricks above, protract the shoulders like this, out in a T shape, this is the pecs, and then up behind you, this is the lats. 3 really simple exercises to strengthen your shoulder joint.